Hi, my name is Jamie, and welcome to the One World, One Voice, Your Story Project. We share stories from people all over the world and from all different walks of life. Because here's the thing, no matter where you are on this wild planet, and no matter what journey you have already been on, we all have our own unique story, which brings our own unique perspectives to the table. And you never know who you might inspire or completely transform simply by getting real and sharing your story. And right now, while the whole world is dealing with COVID-19, there are 7 billion people all venturing through on their own unique path. So drop in with us to hear some of these stories. And on that note, sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode of The Corona Diaries. Okay, amazing. So, few really basic questions just to get started. Today is Tuesday, May 19th, 2020. By the way, is it still Tuesday, May 19th for you, or is it officially Wednesday?
Yes, it is Tuesday night here.
Tuesday night. Okay. So I want to know who I'm speaking with. So what's your name? Let's get started with that.
Yeah, hi, I'm Nirbhaya. I'm from India. And I know my name is too long, so just to make it easier, you can call me Nir.
Nir. Okay.
N-I-R, Nir. Nir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. And where in India are you?
I'm from Mumbai.
Okay. And is that where you are right now, in Mumbai?
Yeah, I am living in Mumbai right now.
Okay. And what kind of space are you in? Are you in a house, an apartment, a condo? Where are you?
We call it flat. So that's a 2 BHK flat. So in India, the term flat is said, I think it's a studio apartment. That is what you guys call it.
Okay. A
I
studio.
guess.
So you're living alone?
A two bedroom. No. It's a 2-bedroom hall kitchen flat. So
Okay,
I don't know
an
what
apartment.
exactly do you guys. Okay, apartment. Okay.
Yeah,
So I live in an apartment with my mother.
Okay, amazing. So you live in a flat with your mother in Mumbai. And do you have any pets?
No, I don't, because my mother don't like any pets running around in the house.
Okay, so it's just the two of you. And what do you do?
So right now I have entered into research. I'm a medical writer in a company, but it's just been a few months since I started this. Before that, I was a teacher. So for past 3 years or so, I think professionally I've been teaching.
Okay, cool. What were you teaching?
So I'm a big biology buff, and I've completed my post-graduation in biology itself. So I was a biology teacher for up to 12th grade. And at the same time, I love painting. So I was also teaching in drawing classes. So I used to teach painting and drawing as well.
I love that
Which I still do.
combination. What'd you say?
Which I still do. I still teach drawing, but I've given up on teaching the academics and shifted my career to research.
Okay, so you're teaching art and you're doing medical research and writing, which makes sense from your biology background. How cool, how fascinating. By the way, I love that you combine art and science, because I feel like a lot of times people think, oh, you're a scientist, you're not creative. But by the way, science is so creative in and of itself. It's its own kind of art. But my stepdad was the first person to graduate from MIT. Have you heard of MIT?
Yeah.
In Massachusetts with a PhD in art and science combined.
Okay.
And so my whole life he's taught me nature, science, art. It's like all one and the same, kind of. So I love that you do that. That's so cool. So, okay, and the last thing, how old are you?
I'm 26 years old now.
26. Okay, you've already done a lot in your 26 years. Sounds like cool. Now, you are 26, living in Mumbai. It's May 19th, 2020. Let's go back in time a little bit here. Do you remember the first time you heard about the coronavirus?
I think March 17th of March, I had heard about it for the first time. in Mumbai. But before that, since January, I've been listening about coronavirus from China, and because of the news and the internet that keeps on flashing the notifications.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nonstop, all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, because you said March 17th, and I was like, whoa, that's late, especially with somebody that has a medical and biology background. Um, okay, but you
I'm
had heard about
talking
it
about
before.
when did I hear about it in Mumbai? I'm talking about
Yeah,
Mumbai when we
totally get it.
started actually taking it seriously. That
Okay,
was on March 17th.
okay. So, but before that, you were reading about it in the news and on
Yeah.
social media. What did you think about it when you first started hearing about it? You said back in January was when you first started hearing about it. What was the thought then?
It was like, okay, that is some new virus that has come into the market. Like we say, the market, it's trending now, and it might be as as similar to swine flu, something that is there. People are getting affected by it. Maybe we one of us might get affected. Maybe we never come across it. It's something that is there in the news, and we just maybe just get to read about it and move on. That was what I thought initially.
Okay. And it's true because there is always this like trending something going on, and you never really know how seriously to take it or not. We just
Actually.
judge it based on what we know in the past because then we can make sense of it in our brains. Okay, so you said on March 17th was when you took it seriously in Mumbai. But did you before then at all start to think like, oh, maybe this isn't just a trending thing. Maybe this actually is
Yeah,
serious.
yeah. Since the beginning of March, we had those, we actually could think about it. Ki maybe even in India, we have to take it seriously. Like since the beginning of March, we started discussing about it because we started seeing all the markets getting affected, especially the medicine market, especially wherein import export is taking place. So many of those trades were stopping. So we came to know about a lot of stuff that was economically, virus was economically changing a lot of things. So that way we were feeling that yeah, some kind of uh, this this wave is going to hit us on some or the other day.
Okay, so maybe, and correct me if I'm wrong, but what I'm hearing from you is like, okay, this virus is definitely going to affect us. We don't know if medically, like physically, it will affect us, but definitely economically, we got to pay attention.
Yeah.
It is affecting us. Okay, which makes sense because, um, yeah, a lot of goods come from India.
Mhm.
At least in the U.S., I know that.
Okay.
And not just material goods, I mean actual work too. I've been in the tech space for a long time, and I know a lot of work comes from people in India. And you live in Mumbai, by the way. Which is bigger? Like what's the biggest city in India? Is it It's not Mumbai, is it?
No, no. Geographically,
What's
it
the
is a
biggest
very
city
tiny city.
population wise?
Population wise, yeah, I think bigger than Mumbai could be Delhi.
Delhi.
Delhi could be
Okay.
higher. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's rather more populated, but yeah, area-wise, Mumbai is quite populated. There are too many people, and we are actually comparatively. They say that comparatively, we are trying to curb the crisis that is going on. So yeah, comparatively, compared to the population that we have, there are barely any deaths. Means the number is big, but compared to the population, it's fine as of now.
Yeah, yeah. People look at the number, but you have to remember the
Yeah.
percentage compared to, I mean, India has what, a third of the population of the world? Like, it's insane. And you got to think about that stuff. Same with the US, we're a massive country, and China too. And then you compare it to a country like Italy, you can't really compare the numbers that way. So I hear you on that. By the way, how many people live in Mumbai? Do you know?
Right now I'm totally spaced out on that number game. But
Because I'm
yeah,
curious, like
there are.
Mexico City, for example, is 22 million, I think, and like Rio is like 20 million in Brazil.
So
And I,
I'm sorry that I don't currently have the exact number, and it would be incorrect for me to just do the
yeah, no, I
guesswork. But
appreciate that. Don't worry. I don't know either. Okay, let's move on from that.
uh,
Um, okay,
but
so
I'm definitely going to Google it after our conversation and remember it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then you can write it on the comments so we know, or email me.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
okay, you're working in the, by the way, what kind of medical writing do you do?
Actually, I'm into medical brochures. That is, we create newsletters, we create various books for doctors, advertisements regarding
Interesting.
a new product in the pharmaceutical industry.
Oh my God. Okay. What a wild industry to be in right now. Holy moly. Okay. Yeah. I mean, let's just go in. What has that been like? Have you had a different insight or perspective into the virus and the treatment and all of that? Anything because of the work that you're in?
No, currently the clients that we are working for, we are strictly limited to professionally be working only on those topics. So other than that,
Uh,
on our personal level, we can just get into, because we have the sources to the various links to various websites, we have access. So through that, we
oh,
can do personal work. But other than that, we are supposed to strictly
have
stick to
you?
the client's work.
Have you?
And
Like,
I
have you?
cannot share that information
You can't share. Ah, it's
online.
proprietary. I get it. Dang it. Okay. But you, know, being a biologist, I imagine, is the virus extra interesting to you?
Yeah, very much.
So
The way it is evolving is rather, I find it more interesting the way the virus has been evolving so far.
tell
That
me
story is
about,
rather more interesting.
talk to me about that. Like, what about it was interesting to you? And like, and also, do you keep the information to yourself or do you share it? Do you feel an obligation? Like, what is that like? You know, because you definitely have a different understanding of it than, let's say, the general population who doesn't have any kind of scientific or medical background.
The regular evolutionary story of virus can be shared publicly. We can discuss about it openly. It breaks my heart to know that people are not that interested in understanding the evolution, because evolution is something that has been shaping us all, shaping the entire earth. So that is my favorite topic to talk about actually. So okay, so since you're asking, I would just quickly brief you up regarding what I've been reading regarding the evolution of the virus. In the early 2000, after 2010, I guess, somewhere between 2009 to 2012, there was already this same virus that had been affecting in the Chinese wet market, and it had taken a lot of population's attention within China. It had already started a wave, which then they claimed that we have sanitized the wet market. And I just don't want to get into the details of the year and the numbers and all, but the fact that they had claimed that, and they had successfully, maybe they must have successfully sanitized the market and cleaned it off, and they were claiming that the virus is gone for now, gone for good, but it has started again. So now that the virus has started hitting the population again, since that time when the scientists compared it, it was like the previous virus was the same, but a but an older version of this one. So this is like virus 2.0. So COVID-19. Now we are guessing maybe after 19. What if there is another COVID-20? Like, an updated version. So the virus is updating itself that fast, and already this updated version has created so much of havoc. God knows what next the virus could do. So this is what I've been studying. Like, even currently, the pattern in which the people are getting affected, they say that Indians are not that affected, which might be true on certain levels, because you cannot see a huge massive population dying due to the virus. They are getting COVID positive, but then they are getting means they are getting hospitalized, and they are coming out saying that we are cured and all. So maybe Indians, the way you must have heard this, that people from other countries have came to claiming that Asians are not getting affected. Then Asians are saying that Western people are not. There is so much of confusion regarding the virus. Every other day we'll find some new story, some new theory that this virus is doing this virus is doing that. So this all these things. Some scientists might claim that wash your hands for 20 seconds. The other one will say no, 20 seconds is not good enough. So there will be one scientist, one rumor that people are saying that chicken mat khao, means don't eat chicken, and because of chicken you might get the virus. But whereas there will be a whole set of scientists who are saying no, it's not true at all. If you cook your chicken well and you eat it, nothing is going to happen to you. How can anything happen to you if you're eating vegetables and nothing is happening to you? So there are so many rumors and so many theories, and one reason behind that is definitely because the virus is modifying itself constantly. So there might be some people who are actually making some observations, recording it in their journals and in their articles, publishing it, and by the time it gets out to the public, some other person who is just a reader is trying that same thing, maybe as an experiment, and calling that previous article fake. It could have been real just few days ago. The virus is evolving that fast. So
Holy moly. And that's not normal, right? Like viruses don't evolve that quickly.
no, some of them do. If it is like the exact combination that the virus has got, the combination in case of the RNA that the virus has got, if it has got some good recipe in itself, then it can keep on modifying itself. It can keep on evolving. The number of times it is reproducing in every human being, it is able to modify. It can, means it has got those capabilities as we can see it throughout the world.
So that's why there's no consistency
Hmm.
in what people are reporting.
Yeah.
Now, is that why? Okay, so why? What I don't understand is like a virus is a virus, right? It can affect a human being. We all are human beings. What's the difference between an Indian and somebody who's in China, for example?
There might not be any difference, just the difference could be of the environment that we are in, maybe the regular habits that we have of maybe I don't want to blame or
Ah, it could be
pinpoint
external
anything.
factors like the temperature
Yeah,
of
yeah,
what you're eating.
temperature maybe, huh.
So it's not about the human being. It's about the stuff that's
Yeah,
around you.
because
And
for a virus, the human DNA is same throughout the
that's what
entire
I
world.
thought.
Yeah.
But the problem is that because like all of the external factors are different, but as human beings we want to categorize and make better than, it becomes, oh well, Africans just can't get it and Indians just can't get it. But that's not the case. It's that area, that location, not the human being. Isn't that so interesting? And I mean, how does
In
that
case
make,
of
go ahead.
in case of certain virus, certain bacteria, we can say that yeah, there is this inheritance that since our parents didn't get it, even we are in that line of not gonna we are not gonna get affected. In case of virus, that cannot be like always the major factor. It could be a teeny tiny factor, like in very rare cases. So yeah, I'm not claiming that it's completely not dependent upon DNA. It could be like say 0.001% that it is
Okay, basically
affected by
nothing. But you
by
can't say
DNA.
definitively a whole
Huh.
group of people because of a virus. Okay, interesting. And I'm glad we got clarity on that. Thank you. I think a lot of people are going to be grateful for that. But okay, let's go back to you specifically. And I'm sorry. I think it's so fascinating and you're passionate about it anyway. And it's part of your experience is going
Yeah.
through that. Now, do you feel any kind of obligation to share this information? I mean, what does that feel like being you? Because you mentioned all these social media notifications and you see the news and there's so much misinformation.
Yeah. So regarding what? Regarding sharing which information?
Any information, like when you hear misinformation or your friends and family, because I know for myself, like when I knew that things were starting to get serious, but people weren't paying attention here, but I have this global network, I felt like friends felt like I had to tell everybody. What has that been like for you? Do you have that same feeling? Maybe you don't. I don't know.
Yeah. See, every other day we get hundreds and hundreds of WhatsApp messages, Instagram messages, Facebook forwards, wherein people are saying some or the other thing regarding the virus. Maybe there are memes. There are certain innovative messages wherein you'll find one meme statement just to grab the attention, and rest of it is actual information. But then next day we watch it in the news that this WhatsApp forward was fake. The other message that had been running and other news channels were showing it, that has been declared as fake. So people are worried, same goes with me. Whether I get some information, after that, whenever I get it, after that verifying it, by the time you try to process whether it is true or not, speak with a few bunch of people and try to find out how authentic that is, by that time the news has already been changed. So yeah, it is intimidating to decide whether to share some information or not publicly. Yeah, especially it is really frustrating, sometimes, that I have this information but I don't know whether to post it publicly or not.
It's so weird. And I feel the same way. Do I say this? Do I not? Do I want to even know? Like, there's so many layers to it. Excuse my language, but it's kind of a mind fuck for a lot of reasons. Like, it really is. And I mean, okay, let's just get like establish this foundation because I truly don't know. The only person I spoke to in India was a woman in Goa, and that was about a month ago. So totally different place, and a lot changes in a month, in a week, let alone,
Mm.
So tell me about the current state of affairs in Mumbai. And by the way, what happened on March 17th? Clearly something happened.
So, no, not exactly. Something actually, the company that I'm working for, and most of the companies around, just started declaring a work from home. Like it was a kind of wave of information floating around, that people were contacting each other, telling, my company has declared work from home. Has your company declared it already? No, then they are going to declare. Go attend your meetings. That was what we were talking about since March 16th, 17th, 18th. Within these 3 days, suddenly everybody had to declare it, even before the government could actually make some announcements on the television, in the news nationally. Before that, the companies in Mumbai were declaring work from home, because there had been notices that were given to the company on in those days. So
Interesting. So the
that is what
government,
kept my mind reminding me that March 17th is the date.
okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Hmm.
Okay, so it was really the day that life started to change.
Yeah.
Not like a major event, but it kind of was in some
Yeah,
way.
because now we are locked in our own homes. So it all depends upon how facilitated your home is, how spaced out you are, like within an apartment, how many people are, trying to adjust, trying to accommodate to the new life that everybody is in the same home. So for me,
Yeah.
I'm very lucky that it's just me and my mom. But quite a few people, this video might not be that pleasing because I'm speaking like just saying, yeah, we are locked in our home, and I'm smiling. So for some, it might not be that appealing right now.
Yeah, and I know like in well, I don't know. And by the way, you're frozen a little bit for me. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can clearly
Okay.
hear you.
Perfect.
Can you now?
Yes. Okay, so one thing I want to ask about before going into like the living situation and what that's like, you mentioned something interesting. It sounded to me like the government went to the corporations and gave them warning and told them to start shutting down, and then they shut down the country. Like, help me understand that.
See, actually, there had been, it had been in the news, and people were actually not ready to believe it, whether it's a rumor, because in even something that an article given in the newspaper, the next day the newspaper might just declare that no, the news has been changed. So people were not yet ready to accept whether that is the situation that we are going to be facing in the upcoming week. Forget so many months. We were just not ready in that particular weeks. I think second week of March, I think. So we were not that ready mentally to even accept the situation that something that big is coming. And when I say that nation didn't declare, it was about this prime minister addressing to us on the television nationally. That is what I'm relating to as declaration by by the government of India. So those kind of announcements, which were rather more, more specific to what the situation is, started a bit later, like say Sunday or maybe Monday. I don't even remember that exact date, but I remember this date wherein all the corporates were trying to, shut down the company, saying that no one is coming from tomorrow onwards into the building.
Wow. Okay. So it was like the prime minister, everyone knew this is going to be a huge, massive shock, kind of to get people prepared. We'll close down the companies first, then they'll know, okay, we're going to be home, and then boom, lockdown. Um, and then I know in India, it was like kind of insane. I mean, there still wasn't much warning, in all honesty. And in one day, it was just boom, everything
Yeah,
shut down, and people got
lockdown.
stuck. And a lot of people were stuck in Mumbai that actually live outside of the city, right? Um,
They still
yeah.
are.
Tell me all about that. Like, what was it like when the whole city, the whole country just shut down?
Yeah, it was pretty sudden. Like I said, corporates and all started getting this news a couple of days before. But then suddenly, when the nation was declared lockdown, and we were expected to stay where we are. So privileged people like us, we know that yeah, we are staying home, we are working from home. But the people who are rather more dependent upon their day-to-day work, like daily wages, they are dependent upon that. So those people started having issues. Definitely, they started claiming this that they are not satisfied with the decision of the country. But ultimately, whatever decision was taken on the spot, lockdown was declared, and it was actually sudden for 100% people, definitely. But that sudden decision led to the safety of many. So yeah, there are people who will say that today's lockdown situation is not good. There is a whole bunch of different people who will say that yeah, it is best, whatever has happened is good.
And you personally, it sounds like you think it was
uh,
the best.
yeah, see, scientifically speaking, I would say that yeah, great that we have been locked down and we are trying to avoid it. But then my heart and my brain, my logical self is trying to explain to me, trying to yell at me that no, this actually, this lockdown could be rather more scarier, because right now there is this set of numbers, set of people who are affected, set of deaths, that's it. But if that lockdown is lifted, suddenly there will be second wave, second hit, that more number of population will start getting affected, because for so many days we have been apart from each other, and we say that that virus is in control, but it actually is inside those people who are corona positive. So definitely that virus is still existing, right? So it will be there somewhere, even if the tests of people are showing that they are negative, they're not corona positive, still it could be there somewhere in the air somewhere. And once that suddenly, when that lockdown is lifted and when so many people will start roaming around on the street, definitely that virus is going to again get activated. Maybe it has deactivated itself for a while, because even the virus is smart. Actually, virus, I think, is way smarter than human beings. So yeah, definitely it could attack us even in worse situation than compared to what it is now. So I don't know, I'm split in two mind whether the lockdown is good or bad. I really don't know right now.
I don't know either. I really, like, literally moment by moment, it changes how I feel. And okay, so you said you're one of the, I forget the word you use, but privileged is the word that I'm thinking of. That you
Hmm.
have a house, right? You have a place to stay. It's just you and your mom. Um, what is like, and I know there's a huge discrepancy between people with wealth, and then there's people that have nothing, and there's not much in between. Um, what's going on in Mumbai? I mean, it's been 2 months,
Yeah.
solidly 2 months, a little over 2 months. Are you still in full quarantine lockdown?
Yeah, we are locked down.
Okay.
So
And
it is like we are not allowed to roam about on the streets. It's just where if we want to buy those essential daily needed stuff, then only we are allowed to leave our home. That to one person at a time. We are not supposed to travel public transport. Recently, like I think 2 days back, they started the public transport just for the sake of people who are working for those hospitals and essential needs category that they have tagged. So under that category, whichever shops or whichever workplaces are working, they have started. So for those people, they've started the public transport. Other than that, no. Every other day, I'm watching on the news that they are saying that police is, trying to stop people from roaming around. So they are hitting people and they are actually yelling at them or picking up their sticks and hitting people. So that is like one or two cases wherein it is happening, then it shows up in the videos and people have a good laugh about it and just forget about it. But then I come to know that those videos are getting viral throughout the world, and I don't know what you think about India, but then people are actually tagging those two videos for being the conditions of India. Like they're saying that this entire thing is happening in entire India, that police is hitting people, which is not true. So yeah, we are wherever we are supposed to be locked down, wherever there are zones, there are areas wherein no one is allowed to leave their home. In those places, people are following the rules. There are certain places wherein people are allowed for certain amount of hours, like say morning to afternoon, half of the day you can uh, go to places, you can finish off your work and get back home. So in those places, people are following those rules. So if it says that by 2 o'clock you gotta leave the roads and the shops and get back to your home, and if people at all are just roaming around on their bikes and all at say by 3 or 4 p.m., then police is going to yell at them, ask them to just leave the road and get back to their home. And videos of that gets viral, and suddenly everyone from every other country is just thinking that that is what India is really harsh on the citizens. So that is not true. Even we ourselves, it is our duty to follow the rule, and we are doing that. So when it is said that lockdown, so we most of us are at home, we are responsibly behaving. So yeah.
I appreciate you setting the story straight. I haven't actually seen those videos, but I know what you're talking about because it wouldn't be the first time somebody decided to share a video from another country and then we all interpret it however we interpret it. And that's shitty.
I- I'm
And
I'm not assuming that. I'm just saying that from experience because see, when I post my artworks on Instagram and YouTube, I come across various beautiful artists from around the world, wherein and in those groups that we have, and we have little chats about each other's. How are you painting? Are you locked down? How are you managing your art material? How are the conditions in your country? So every artist that I've spoken to, if they are non-Indians and if they are not even related to any Indian as such, they will just ask me one and one question only: are police hitting you? So that is how I started feeling that maybe even before you might ask it to me, I should clarify it. That's why I just went ahead with that story.
wow. So this is a question that you've been getting asked recently by
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah.
people. Okay. And I imagine, I mean, how does that feel?
I just end up explaining them that just don't go by the viral videos. While explaining that point to so many peers, so many artists, I ended up, subconsciously getting that same statement in my head as well. So then I started realizing that I just believe any viral video, and I just start thinking that that particular country has those conditions, or even on my from my side, I must have done that in so many cases. I must have assumed certain things about, not maybe not about the entire country, but maybe about a particular city or particular place, or now
Situation.
yeah, situation. So definitely now, after this thing has happened with me in the past few weeks, my entire mentality of looking at the reviews has also changed. So a particular review, a set of reviews for a certain restaurant, maybe reviews for for a certain company. And now I just feel that maybe those reviews are not actually giving a proper picture about the company that we are reading about. So yeah, this lockdown has changed me in this way.
I actually think that's a pretty cool impact.
Yeah,
Because we do just take we read something, okay, it's true, but like you can put literally anything you want on the internet. And I forget that so often. But it's such a good reminder and so important because what we choose to believe shapes our reality. And it's really, and whatever we choose to believe, okay, it's true. And if we make it true, that's what it is. So it's important to get the actual information. I love that. Okay, let's talk about how else you've been affected in quarantine. By the way, you said it's just you and your mom. Did you, are your parents divorced? Did you have a father or a mother, another
yeah.
mother? Tell
No,
me
no, they
about.
are divorced.
They're divorced. Okay. And where's your dad?
No, we are not in contact.
But you're not in contact. Okay.
Not since childhood.
Okay. Since you were really, really little. My parents got divorced when I was 2. Well, separated when I was 2, officially divorced, I guess, when I was 4. I don't remember my life before that happened. Do you remember your life at all before it was just you and your mom?
Actually, it was since I was 6 months old. So
Oh, wow. No, there's no way. Okay. And you don't have any siblings, I imagine.
no,
Okay. So just you and your mom. It's been that way your whole life. Are you too close?
yeah, we are.
Okay.
Even right now, I have locked her in another room. I have asked her to just stay out and don't listen to whatever I'm speaking. So she's close in another room.
So you have
So yeah, that
privacy.
way she knows what I'm doing right now. I've discussed that with her. Definitely, the moment uh, I confirmed that email that you had sent, I discussed that thing with my mom that I'm gonna have so and so meeting and it's just gonna be fun. And even she got equally excited. And right now
Cool.
she was a little bit heartbroken that I'm locking her away and I'm expecting her not to listen. So yeah,
Because she wants
she's
to
very supportive.
hear.
Yeah, yeah.
I get it. Well, she'll be able to hear it because we'll send you the recording. And hey, if she ever wants to
Wow,
do an
that's
interview,
great.
I would love to interview her. Um, so, okay, you've been close then, but I imagine you've never spent this much time, just the two of you.
Not at all. Not at all.
Talk to me
It's
about it.
been like, yeah, it's been like a bit different for me since childhood. Different as in compared to rest of my peer group, rest of the children around me. So it used to be like, yeah, now it's vacation time, so they are visiting places. They are going to their relatives' house. We call it like uncle's place, like mother's native place.
Yep.
So that is where they'll go to their villages. And for me it used to be just like vacation time means alone at home. So not exactly alone. When I was little, my grandmother, we used to stay with my grandmother. So staying means that wouldn't be any different than the regular time school days. So but this lockdown has given me that feeling, like it's a vacation time. My brain has just taken me back to my expectation that I used to have in my childhood regarding the vacations. That I used to imagine that, yeah, maybe one vacation I would get wherein my mother is not working. She is working right now, but she's working from home. So most of the time we are there together, and we are having so much fun cooking food for each other, and discussing about how we can bring about changes in the home, the decor, because I love to paint. So yeah, I've painted a lot of walls or a lot of corners in my home. So
Cool.
we keep on discussing about that, and I just feel appreciated. And maybe means that is not something that I want to throw a tantrum at her, like no, just pay attention to me. No, that is not my intention. But it is there somewhere for the past this say now 25 years that I have been expecting. Maybe I get that one vacation wherein she's completely 100% mine. So like I'm feeling like a little child getting pampered by my mother because of this lockdown.
That's so nice. Oh my goodness. I mean, I'm kind of, my relationship with my mother, she is my best friend and my worst enemy. And I know that like we get along really well and then we like cannot get along. It's just complicated
There are
relationship.
some points wherein that switch occurs and you're like, I just hate her, right? Yeah, same thing happens with me too. When you love someone too much, it happens.
Oh my goodness. But I know with my mom, if I had to live with her during this quarantine, I'm 32, by the way, she's 62, we would probably kill each other. Maybe we'd have good moments, but I know it would be intense. Maybe it would be the best thing to happen for us because we'd actually be forced to like work through everything. But I love the fact that for you, it's brought back this nostalgic feeling of being taken care of by your mom and you get to be a kid and play and paint,
Yeah.
and that is amazing. And you've also said that it's been up and down. Like you've had moments where you're like, ah, like talk to me about your mental health. Because you can only go out one person at a time and just to the store. It doesn't sound like you can really like go to the park or be outside or go do things. Like you've been at home.
Actually, see, there is this meme that has been running around on Facebook and everywhere. The screen has just frozen. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So there is this meme that has been going around regarding artists, regarding painting artists, that before lockdown they were painting at their home. During lockdown they are still painting at their home. So nothing
Yeah.
has pretty much changed for an artist who paints. So yeah, from that perspective, I do enjoy, but then I keep my windows open. I watch out of my balcony for a while. I stare at the sky. I listen to all the sounds that the birds are producing, which
Mm.
brings me to the fact that birds are chirping rather more compared to what they used to before, because pollution has drastically dropped down in Mumbai. That means environmentalists have declared that so far, for the past so and so years, they have never seen such clear skies and such less amount of population pollution in air. So that is something that is a good thing. But then again, like we discussed, the split mind that once the lockdown is lifted, I think it is going to badly affect the air that we are going to travel so much. So yeah, getting back to the topic, yeah, I what were we saying? I just forgot.
How's your mental health
Yeah,
been?
yeah, mental health. So yeah, I am tensed regarding what is going to happen in the future with the job, with the the economy and all the things that are going to change. There are so many people who are going to lose jobs. Maybe I might be one of them. I don't know. Maybe there are people who are going to change their jobs. It could be anything. So focusing on all those tensions was really frustrating for me. So I just started focusing on my painting side. I started taking care of my YouTube channel and my Instagram, and I just started coming up with this new ideas and themes to paint, maybe one of the corner of my home. Then I realized that I should start even painting on my canvas, because that was just there in the corner of one of my rooms. So I didn't touch that for quite a few months. So now I need to get back to my canvas painting. So that is how I started shifting my focus from the fact that what is going to come in the future, rather than that I started focusing on what I have today. Like I said, I'm enjoying my vacation, childhood vacation dream that I used to have, and on top of that I'm painting, which I know is a productive thing. So we got to focus on something productive that we can do today. It could be anything that you have at your home, and or something that you are just left off that hobby just because you said that you don't have time. And now if you start doing it, it really gives you rather a sense of achievement, a sense of hope that something good is going to come out of it. Maybe you might just end up planning something for the future, that yeah, like say I something that has changed in me is I started focusing on this art side rather more. So I started imagining myself, maybe just not immediately after the lockdown, but maybe say after 20 25 years later, maybe I just become I just give up everything, all my job and everything, and I just start painting and painting only. So that
I
is
don't
something that
know. I mean,
that
or
is
maybe you create, instead of medical writing, you do medical painting and you start creating art
wow.
based on stuff, right? Maybe you create a whole new industry and get to blend your two worlds together because you have the time to do it.
Wow, superb. That is something new that you have now put that thing in my mind, like a virus in my mind. Now I'm going to start planning about it.
But I love what you described because it's really true. I mean, the reality is there's so much that we don't know. And when you think about the economy, and by the way, has the government in India helped at all with, I mean, I asked that knowing that, first of all, the US is somehow, I was just talking to my dad about this last night. It's like, oh, they want to do a second round of the infusion of money. And I said, Dad, from where? Like, the money's fake. We literally are in so much debt. So what? They just go print out more paper and then that just devalues the dollar. It's not real money. It's all fake. The whole economy, it's fake. So like the whole global economy is getting affected. And like you said, people are living day to day in Mumbai. There's plenty of people in the US that live day to day too, but you literally cannot survive unless you're working that day to make that wage. So what do they do? Has the government helped at all, or what do those people do?
Yeah, this is the fourth lockdown that has started since Monday. So every lockdown, government did bring come up with some or the other project, some of the other plans, some of the other scheme that various sector of people could avail those schemes and get their wages, or in some or the other form they could get some or the other loan for certain reasons. So there are different plans that the government has come up with. In this lockdown, especially, they have come up with a lot of plans, which I have not memorized that well. I just heard it in the news and I just read it. I didn't understand some of the terms, so when that happens, I just sort of give up reading the rest in detail. So yes, I understood that much that after reading all those schemes, that yeah, they are having certain they are focusing on those we call them mazdoor. Mazdoor means the daily wages kind of labor sector. So the government is focusing on those people, and because there are so many of them who are trying to migrate from say, particularly because I live in Mumbai, let me just talk about Mumbai. So there are so many migrants who are laborers who are migrating from Mumbai back to their states. So that is say like more than 200 kilometers of traveling, and because there is no train working, they are just walking on the roads. So that is something that they've been doing. Even we are shocked the way you are right now. So
I mean, because that's a long way to walk.
and they and I can only imagine the amount of desperation that they have, that they need to work. And it's just not random men. It is women, children, or the entire family with so much of stuff that they have on their backs, and they're just walking without any food, without water, without footwear. They are randomly walking, and they are saying that no, they have to get back to their village, otherwise they won't be able to survive. So there are these conditions, but then government is coming up with various rules, various laws, various schemes, because of which, let me repeat, even after sharing this information, let me repeat, millions have been getting that advantage of the government schemes. And definitely there are so many who are getting, help, getting food, getting places to rest. See, there are resources, there are ways to help them, but since the information that they are going to get that help is not reaching up to them, that's why they are getting panicked, and they have started working. So
I mean,
that
imagine,
is
because
what
if
the
you're walking in
situation
the
is.
middle of nowhere and you have no phone or internet, like, how do you know? Even though it's there, oh, so complicated and so many layers.
So
And
government is trying to reach up to those people, those who are
yeah,
actually migrating, and trying to explain to them how there are ways to get
sure,
back
but
to their state.
how
They
do you
will.
get the information to them? But they're
So
trying. They're trying,
yeah.
which is the most important thing. And I think that that's what I'm hearing happen in a lot of countries. I will say, with the exception of the US and Brazil, I feel like most countries are trying. They know they have to take some extreme measures, and it's not going to work for everybody, no matter what. There are people that are going to have a really hard time with it. and still trying to do everything they can to somehow make it work for everybody. I say with the exception of the US, because I feel like the only thing that they're trying to do here, they, meaning Trump, is keep businesses open. At the same time, it's like, well, what about the mental health? What about the fact that we are social creatures and have to see each other? All of that kind of stuff. To your point about the art and right, having to do something productive. What can I focus on right now? I wonder at the end of the day, what will kill more people, the virus itself or all of this kind of impact? You're talking about these people migrating with nothing, or people that live in a home where they don't get along with their family and there's abuse, all of those things are happening. I don't know which weighs over, but you said you got really into your art. And I love that, because we don't get to choose what happens to us, but we certainly get to choose how we respond. And I love how you said that you chose how you respond. You look and listen to the birds. I mean, what a beautiful meditation. And to be able to see the nature and coming back to life in ways that it didn't before, that's beautiful. And is this your art behind you?
Yeah, it is.
So
Which brings me to the point that I've even created one art for you.
it's like, it makes you want to cry of like happiness. That's amazing. I mean, you can see it
I just
behind
took
me. It's the same.
Yeah, I just took one screenshot of your previous interview from your Instagram account, and I just painted it.
It's amazing. Amazing. I love the interpretation. And art is a beautiful thing. I mean, we kind of talked about this in the beginning, how it can be expressed in so many different ways. I mean, I think when people say the word art, they think immediately painting, sculpture. But literally creating a new drug, that is an art, right? And it's expressive all the ways. Do you find that by painting, are you able to get out how you feel? Has the way you've painted or done art changed because of coronavirus?
See, art, I think, is any kind of creation. Like there was some artist who has created this world. You can say. Let's just not imagine a human form of that. That power that has created. It could be an atom. An atom created so many atoms, millions and millions of atoms, which ended up creating this earth. So, art is anything that is creation. So it's not just paintings. I agree with you.
Yes.
It could even be a thought. There
I
are
love that.
now
So
there is this.
simple. Wait, let's
uh,
just say that one more time. Art is anything that is creation.
yeah,
Meaning
art is
you,
anything.
you as a little human being over there in Mumbai is a piece of art.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh my God, cool. I really love that definition.
So art could be anything. Just a random, like right now we both are speaking and we end up having this some weird idea, some weird imagination. So since the society doesn't confirm it, we'll call it weird. But that could be one of the art forms that could be created in the future. Even that is
Absolutely.
possible. So art is any kind of creation.
I
It's
love
just
that.
not painting. So yeah, this virus has I won't say that directly the virus has led me to some kind of art form, or the virus has affected my artistic skills. Not directly, but indirectly, yes, it definitely has helped me in realizing that I need to utilize my majority of my time in focusing on art. So that is what the virus has taught me. So even post lockdown, I plan to focus my most of my time in planning what to paint next, and if I start painting it, then just go with the flow. So that is what the virus has taught me, that yeah, the hobby is rather more important. It just helps you focus in your bring focus in your life.
I love that. And by the way, if that is the only impact that this virus has on every human being, that they spend more time on something that they're passionate about, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm assuming it brings you joy, right? Probably
A
to do
lot, a
art,
lot.
which is why you have to do it more. You have to. Because why would you give up something that brings you joy? If everybody found one thing that brought them joy and they dedicated an hour to it a day and didn't give it up after this virus was over and we went back to, or well, there's no really no going back, but came to some sort of normal life, don't you think that that would impact the world in such a beautiful way? Be massive.
Definitely.
And one thing that I keep hearing from so many people, okay, you're spending this time with your mom, right? Cooking meals together for each other, which is so fun. And you're doing art, and you're at home more, redecorating the house. It's like these basic things that we forget to do that are so essential to human being. It's the basics of life that we all get to do now that we're like, whoa, actually, this is more important than my job. Oh, yeah, that's right. I wasn't born to work. I was born to live. And in a lot of ways, we're not living because we're in these cages, but in so many ways, we are living in ways that we forgot for so long. So is there anything else that you want to say about your life in your 2-bedroom flat with your mom and how it's been and what you've been doing, how you're getting through?
uh, Overall, I would like to say that it's fun for me because I am enjoying this time, like we discussed. uh, I feel really sorry and sad about those people who are not able to say this because of the conditions that they are in. But yeah, this virus is going to bring some or the other way, it is going to bring some or the other positive thing in for every person. If they are not finding that positive point right now, I'm sure it is on their way. It will come to them some or the other day. Maybe not today, maybe a month later, maybe after this entire virus story has been wiped out, maybe after that there could be certain changes that in the because of which those people who are not feeling privileged today might feel lucky on some other day, maybe some next year. So yeah, this virus is going to shape the entire earth once again into something different. It's like,
Absolutely.
a metal statue that has been melted off, and now it is going to take a new shape. So
Yes. Yeah. And there's something really exciting about that if you choose. To some people, that can be really overwhelming, but it can also be really exciting because we get to make whatever we want. And I really appreciate the fact that you acknowledge that not everybody gets the privilege to spend time creating art right now, for example, or
yeah.
cook with their mom. There are those people, like you said, that are walking 200 kilometers, you know, and even in that, maybe they notice a couple birds that they never noticed
Hmm.
before, right? There still can be beauty. You can still find it. It is a choice, even when it's really hard. And that is what gets us through. And we have to remember that in these trying times. Have to.
I would like to add here, they are even getting, like I said, they are getting help from various NGOs, from various people who just uh, notice that there are migrants walking on that bridge or some railway track. So there would be a group of people who would run for help, just carry some food and some footwear, some water bottles for them. So those, when they show such videos on news channels, I realized that what those migrants must be thinking. Just 2 months ago, those migrants were laborers working for such people, and today those people are running with food and water for them. So
Isn't
yeah,
that
if
beautiful though?
yeah, so this virus has leveled everybody. So now everyone is on the same level.
Like yes and no, because you've actually people realize, whoa, we're really not on the same level, and also realized, whoa, we're all humans, this isn't fair, let's all help, which is really
Yeah.
cool. And I want to talk more about the positive things because it's my favorite thing to talk about. But let's hold on that for 1 second. I got to ask you a couple questions I ask everybody. um, what's the date? The 19th. Yes, today is May 19th, 2020. Basically, life changed for you March 17th. You've pretty much been at home more or less for a little over 2 months now. You said there's going to be a second wave, probably. I think so too, by science. Come on, shows us that. If you could predict the future, Nir, when are we getting out of this? And I mean the word, like, yeah, when are we getting out of this?
Mentally, never. It is always going to be in our memories. It is This is something that we are going, until we die, we are going to tell our grandchildren about it. We are going to tell everybody that yeah, there was this time wherein, no one can imagine this time. So mentally, I don't think we are getting out of this ever. But yeah, maybe, I hope by the end of this year. At least by the end of this year. Please, not beyond that. So
What a,
I won't raise the hopes by saying June or July. I don't think, but maybe by December 2020.
okay. And what a beautiful
But yeah, we
answer.
are getting out of this. Definitely, we are getting out of this. We are definitely an overpopulated planet. So we are getting out of this.
Yeah. Okay. So we're getting out of it, never mentally, which is, yeah, there's footprints that just will never, ever go away, but we will get out of it. So let's say it is December 2020, okay, end of the year. When we do get out of this and we're looking back on it, who are we all going to look at? And by we, I mean the globe, right? Because as we mentioned in the beginning, this is affecting the whole planet. Who are we all going to look at as the country that handled it the best? Who's the golden child and who failed? Who was the golden fuck up?
I don't like to, remember it that way. So even when there are various news regarding any historical moment wherein certain countries tagged for being, a positive country in the entire situation, and certain countries tagged as negative, or maybe even an entire continent or an entire colony for that matter. I don't like to pay attention to those facts. So I'm sorry if I'm not able to answer this question. That is because I don't like to, sorry for my language, but I don't like to give a fuck regarding that. So
Um,
it's okay. Whichever country has done whatever, ultimately it's some or the other human who has made a mistake, could be some or the other human who has corrected the mistake. So it's fine. We all are humans.
Nothing to apologize for. I asked the question really intentionally. Sometimes I ask questions that I wouldn't like to answer just because I want to hear what people say. And I think you gave a beautiful answer. And I also think that if more people thought that way, maybe we wouldn't compare like we do and say, oh, India's police are beating people up, they're terrible. Or Americans do this, that, they're terrible. I agree. And it isn't the whole country. You're right. It is one person or a couple people making these decisions, and it all happens as it's supposed to. We have to learn, and everybody's doing whatever the heck they can do right now to figure it out. So I love that answer. I appreciate it. You have like I said, no right or wrong answers. It's about you. And I appreciate that. So don't give a fuck about that. Let's not waste our time on that. And let's go into my favorite question to ask, which you've already mentioned so many beautiful things, like the people running to help the people that used to be their employees, right? Those migrant workers. I hate the fact that this is the truth. It's an unfortunate truth, but in darkness is when light shines the brightest. So it is in tragedy, in hardship, when we have our backs up against the wall, that we shine the brightest as humans, because we have to. And so, as you've already mentioned, there's good coming out of this, and even more than we've already talked about. So I want to know from your friends, family, local communities, Mumbai, India, Asia, the world, the planet, what good are you already seeing come out of this? And what good do you think is going to come out of this?
So the good that is already coming out is the world is getting a little less. Means the pollution is reducing day by day. So that is something that is good, that has already begun. So something that might come out
And isn't it
good
crazy
after.
how fast, by the way, with the
Yeah,
pollution?
yeah.
I couldn't believe that. I mean, so I'm in Colorado, but in California, where I have a lot of family in Los Angeles, um, it is just a city that is known for terrible air quality and smog because of the traffic in the cars. And there's an island off of the coast, California. I don't know, maybe takes 30, 40 minutes to get to on a boat that you could rarely ever see. It was a lucky day if you could see the island. And within a week and a half of everyone staying at home, every single morning you see the island.
Wow.
That fast.
So
So
yeah,
yeah, the pollution is
you
amazing.
were previously speaking about the mental health and the inner healing and all. So I think Earth is healing itself. And if it can heal itself that magically fast, then definitely we are the ones who are the culprits. We are someone who is not letting the Earth heal itself by daily producing more pollution.
I mean,
So
they
yeah,
say
this is something that we need to consider.
if we were to get rid of all insects, the planet would destroy itself.
Yeah,
But if we were to get rid of all humans, the planet would completely replenish, and we are seeing that happen. So
definitely.
what is the actual virus, right? It's the question.
Do you follow Marvel movies, Marvel comics, maybe the
Yeah, I
different?
mean, I've watched Spider-Man.
Acha, okay.
Oh
No, in
no.
that there is this villain character, that bad character Thanos, who has snapped his finger and deleted half of the population of every other planet. So on Earth also he has created just like only 50% of the population will remain. So that is the concept of that story. So I just people call him bad character, but I love him for doing that. So I feel that yeah, there is some sense in you know uh, that this earth should not be that populated. Maybe uh, I would like to disagree with the fact that you said that humans are the virus. No, humans are fine on this earth. Earth is fine with humans, but maybe we are too many for
Sure.
anyone to handle, for us to handle, for earth to handle.
I
If
mean,
if
yeah,
we just
we are overpopulated. There's no
yeah,
reason that two people need to go create 10 more people
yeah,
and have big families. No, maybe two, right? Reproduce each
hmm,
other or one, but no. And so, yeah, I think, hey, at the end of the day, Mother Nature is a real thing. Like it just has to take care. This is part of evolution, as you mentioned in the beginning, right? And
yeah,
Darwinism, survival of the fittest, it's a real thing. And we've been able to kind of fuck with that because of biology, because of medicine, right? Like manipulate
yes.
that. But now it's coming back to bite us, maybe because of antibiotics. Like it all has to work itself out at the end of the day.
And the only way to get out of this problem is not like the fiction movies that they show that the population has just sat into a spaceship and they are flying away to wander on some other planet. That is not something that is happening anytime soon. So the only other way is just by evolving. So
Yeah.
if we start ignoring the technology and start focusing on our body, like you said, on an individual level, if we start focusing on our mental health, on our physical body, on ourself, then eventually we'll get to this point. Maybe not, definitely not in our own body, but maybe after 2 3 generations we'll start seeing those evolutionary traits.
Oh, yeah.
If each one of us focus on our body, then we start evolving as human beings, and maybe that is the only way out of this situation that we are in on this earth.
Perhaps. I very much consider myself to be I'm a very spiritual person, and I truly believe that I don't want us to go back to life as it was, as a globe. It was
Hmm.
terrible for so many people, the majority. Hard to live and not enjoyable. Why would we want to go back to that? And thinking, how can we get the world aware of how shitty this is and change at the same time was like, okay, like you said, maybe we're flying away somewhere, the whole world gets destroyed and rebuilt. There was not really a way to think about it that could actually happen. And then coronavirus, I was like, whoa, in a way, this is the most peaceful way that we could have a reset. Will we
Yeah,
actually take the opportunity? And I say peaceful, not to say that there isn't really hard, shitty things happening, because there is. Relatively speaking, though, come on, like it could have been way worse. So beautiful
yeah.
reset. Brings me back to the question. Anything else good that you've seen come out of this or that you think will come out of this, Mir?
See, there are so many people that are realizing how spiritually active they gotta be. Like just now, you mentioned that you are a spiritual person. I wasn't myself, but then I started realizing that I need to, start meditating, start soaking in all
The
the
life
environment that is
birds,
there
come
around.
on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That is not something that I have been doing before. So,
Oh, really?
because of this lockdown, I started looking at myself in a different way, trying to understand, like I said, the mental heal, the body that we need to heal our soul, just have mental peace, mental health. So that is something that I think in this world, since most of us are locked down, they are just at their home and nothing to do. When they have nothing to do, they start focusing on such topics. Directly or indirectly, they are in that direction. You're already on your journey, and some of us have started it now, and there are some certain people who might just listen to this conversation and just say that this is something that is not related to them, but back of their mind something is going on, hitting their subconscious mind that yeah, maybe even I'm doing the same thing. locked down in my own home. So this is something that is really positive, that is coming out, that majority of the people are gonna understand the importance of their mental health, of their mind, of how they were burdening themselves with unnecessary pressures, unnecessary tensions that were around, that they were focusing on rather than focusing on themselves and their own happiness. So this is something that has, like, see, for example, you have started with this project wherein you were already on your journey, but then you're reaching out to more people. I got a chance to be a part of this beautiful project. So definitely, and I can see on social media that there are so many people who are trying to bring positive changes to their own social media platforms in such a way that they are able to spread positivity more, because in times like these, people need to be reminded about how their own happiness is rather more important. So with whatever you have, you got to be happy and you got to focus on moving forward. So this is what the virus has taught us on a huge level, like the ultimate level. The virus is teaching us that. So there were quite few people like you who were there existing before the virus. I think the most positive thing that the virus has done is increase those number of people doing positive work, and definitely it is going to positively shape the new earth in future. So yeah, that is the good thing.
Yeah, it's a really, really good thing. There's no way it can't shape positive impacts in the future. There's no way. And it's true. I mean, you're sitting here, regardless of whether or not you want to hold up the mirror, you can't help but be confronted with yourself. And some people choose to take it on, some people resist, but no matter what, something's happening there. And yeah, it's so cool. And it is like, I mean, it's a domino effect because we're all energy at the end of the day. So it starts seeping in, and it's very cool. I mean, even my little brother, he's 24, he's having his own waking up journey, not prompted by me, but don't get me, I'm supporting it, but it's happening all over the place. You're right. And golly, what impacts that will have. Because we're going to become the future leaders, right? And if you have that love and compassion, there's just certain things you cannot do. And I love that you keep bringing it back to love, self-love, because I don't know if you know RuPaul or you watch any drag race or drag queens, but it's a beautiful art form. Drag queens are basically, drag is performing and dressing up in another gender, and it really is a performance.
Okay.
And it's so fun. And RuPaul is like the mother, the queen of all drag queens, and he always says, if you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you going to love somebody else? Can I get an amen up in here? And it's true. And it feels selfish if you've never practiced it, but in order to show up and love somebody or love the planet, you have to show up as your full self. So it's very cool, very exciting. It's been such a pleasure speaking with you. Is there anything else that you'd like to share or say on the record as of May 19th, 2020, being you, living through this time in history?
Yeah. Just something maybe not related to the topic that is trending. I would just like to ask one question. Did you mind me nodding all the time? Because I've seen this in various TV series and movies that they mention the Indian nod. So did you get irritated by that?
No, that's so funny. I don't mind.
Help it.
I don't mind at
I can't
all.
help it. We are. I won't say brought up, but we observe, right? As a kid, we observe what is happening around, and that is what everyone is doing. We are nodding. So I've been nodding throughout the conversation, and I just realized that you're not doing that. So I remembered that suddenly, that yeah, maybe you must have got irritated by my nod.
Oh my God, that's so funny. No, I didn't even think about it because I feel like I do not. And I'm like this all the time and like so expressive. No, I didn't even notice that. So.
Then that's great.
Cool. Anything else?
No.
Okay.